Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who all learned this truth from and who do well. Peace and salutations to the 144,000, the rest of the elect. Unto you I say shalom. Coming to you back with another lesson through the Spirit. Now I'm entitled this one, Esau is about to come down with great wrath. And who is Esau? Edom in the scriptures today will be no other than the self-proclaimed white man that is ruling the entire planet Earth. And how did he gain control of the world population of all these different countries and their resources is by its military force, by all the different weapons that he's used from back in the day when America was first established, using the gunpowder and putting it into the old school type of guns. And now Esau don't even have to do that. Esau can just click a button and drop a missile on you. But we know that ultimately he's about to come down with that great wrath. He's just about to start offing people because he has no other choice. The cat is out the bag. Everybody knows who the small hats are and that they're the problem of the earth. The whole Steam files being released a couple weeks ago. So now Esau, Edom, he just has to crash the system because he can no longer hide under that identity of being white, being pure, because now the whole world is starting to see his wickedness and what he's done to all these different countries. He murders, rapes, robs, pillages. So ultimately he's about to just start deleting people because the truth is coming out. And really the ones that he wants to do away with is the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, especially the elect, the remnant, starting with the 144,000 and that large multitude, the rest of the 1/3. But we know that ultimately only the 2/3, the ones who were predestined to not be delivered, are the ones who are going to be in the midst of it, in the midst of Jacob's trouble, in the midst of all hell breaking loose. 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So we're at the end of this current world, of this current age, this current aeon, being ran by the self-proclaimed white man, Esau, Edom. And knowing that, that's why he's scrambling to get his NWO up and running, his new digital prison that is going to be ran by the MOTB, which is going to be the RFID microchip, where he's going to implement it upon the masses. And if you don't take it, if you don't comply, then he's going to either delete you, throw you in these concentration camps, and delete you, either way. He might have you take the RFID microchip, the MOTB, and then still delete you. But that's how much of a devil this man is, because he doesn't play fair. He never has and he never will. And that's why he's trying so hard to get the birthright back through left-hand means, through AI, through using all these different enhancements, on the body, being a damn android, a cyborg. This is what the world is coming to. But Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is about to put a stop to this devil, and he's putting a stop to this devil now. That's why his kingdom is crumbling, and he's scrambling to get this new system up and running ASAP, because he knows that he doesn't have long. That the kingdom of heaven, which is going to be ran by the nation of Israel, starting with who everybody ignorantly calls Christ, JC, which his real name is Yahweh Shai, and the rest of the remnant, the elect, the 144,000, that large multitude. This is Revelation chapter 12 And verse 12, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. That's why he's doing what he's doing. His psyops and witchcraft is getting tackier and tackier, especially with the whole Austin situation that happened a couple days ago, right after he attacked Iran. What did that shirt of that so-called T-word say? It say property of Allah, because he's trying to get the ministry blamed, and that's ultimately what it's all about, is taking the prophets out of the highways and byways and shutting this truth from going out on the internet, on the YouTube, different social media sites. That's why he's doing what he's doing. But ultimately, we know once this word stops going out, then that signals the downfall, the complete downfall of this devil's kingdom. That's why he's scared to make the move. He's scared to shut this thing down, because once he does come down with that great wrath upon the people, that Yahweh Bashim Shai is going to raise up that standard for the elect, but only for the elect, not for no 2/3, not for no heathens. No, the Jacob's trouble is meant for the wicked of our people and for the rest of these heathens, because ultimately of their wickedness, the only ones who are going to be covered during this time when Esau, Edom, comes down upon the people, he starts kicking doors down, is going to be the remnant. But even some of the remnant, they're going to be thrown in these concentration camps to be a testimony for Yahweh Bashim Shai. Some are even going to be martyrs, but ultimately Yahweh Bashim Shai is going to raise them up first, while the rest of our people says, woe to the inhabitants of the earth. They're going to be out here caught up with no protection, no covering. And ultimately Esau, Edom, he was blessed with that sword to be allowed to do this. That's why he has gained control of the planet Earth by the means of death, destruction, putting hell upon people. And he's coming with that same spirit that he was during the time of Jacob and Esau. This is Genesis 27 and verse 38. And Esau said unto his father, hast thou one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also. It says, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And that's ultimately because he sold his birthright. And that birthright, that eternal blessing, was only given unto Jacob and his descendants, the 12 tribes of Israel, which today will be the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and the Israelite foreigners that are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, but their lineage goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's who the eternal blessing is, which consists of the kingdom of heaven is going to be established upon the planet earth, where the rest of the heathen nations, the so-called white people, the so-called Arabians, so-called Chinese, they're going to be subjects under the Israelites. But this is what Esau, Edom, is trying to do on the left-hand side, because he got that second place blessing, a temporary blessing, a temporary rulership of the entire planet Earth, and he doesn't want to give it up. Like it says in Psalms chapter, 43, the inward thought, or 49, the inward thought of their minds, their houses shall continue on forever. This is what this devil wants, but Yahweh Bashim Shai is not going to allow it, because his time of ruling, his blessing, is almost up. It says, verse 39, and Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above. And that's how you know that this is talking about the self-proclaimed white man, and it's Esau, Edom, because he has complete rulership of the entire planet earth. He just took over Venezuela and their oil, and now he's trying to take over Iran's oil. It says, and the dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth. So this devil has complete rulership of the entire planet earth, but he's trying to get that final squeeze upon the people, which is complete control of these people's lives, of their livelihoods. You can't participate in society if you don't have the RFID microchip, which is the MOTB. You can't buy and sell. You can't pump gas. You can't take a number one or a number two whenever you want. This is what the world is coming to. But Yahweh Bashim Shai is going to stop him, like it says, while he's in the midst of filling his belly. That's when Yahweh Bashim Shai is going to rain that great wrath on his devil. Verse 40, and by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have dominion, thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And we're almost at that time where the yoke being upon Jacob, upon Israel, upon the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans is almost up. And the only ones who are rejoicing at the downfall of this devil's kingdom are going to be the elect, because that signals that deliverance of the elect is close, which is going to lead to the kingdom of heaven, which is going to lead to the rest of these heathen nations being thrown in captivity. That's right around the corner. Verse 41, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my brother are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. And this is what he's in the same spirit today. That's why he's about to come down with that great wrath, because he's trying to get to the elect, to the remnant, and he's trying to do away with the whole nation of Israel, which we know that he's not going to be successful. Yeah, he's gonna delete a lot of people, like it says in 2nd Ezra chapter 16. He's gonna slay those that fear the Lord, which are the Israelites, but not the remnant, not the elect, because the elect, they're gonna be kept from all these different calamities. Jacob's trouble, all hell breaking loose. Esau, Edom coming down with that great wrath. That's reserved for these 2/3 and these heathens that are settled on their leaves. They're not paying attention. They don't know what the hell's going on. Here, the U.S. is literally at war, but people are still in La La Land, not giving a damn to what's going on. And that's why they're going to be caught off guard like a thief in the night, like it says in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 14, and it reads, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. So destruction unto them that dwell in the world, which is majority, even us. But like it says in Micah chapter 2 and verse 10, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. The elect know that this is not their rest, so they're not going to be comfortable and, I'm going to just settle down because I know that this place is not going to be destroyed. Here the economy's collapsing rapidly. Gas was $2 and a couple cents a couple days ago. And now it's over $3, letting you know how rapidly this economy is collapsing. This place is about to be through. But yet, majority of the world, they're not paying attention to these things. And that's why they're going to get caught off guard when all hell breaks loose. Because they weren't paying attention to the signs that were right in front of their faces. Verse 15, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. And people aren't going to fight with modern day swords, in these last days when all hell's breaking loose. No, they're going to fight with that modern day sword, which is the gun, the firearm, and whatever different forms of firearms they got. That's what they're going to use, and that's what Esau Edom is going to use when all hell starts breaking loose, when Jacob's trouble starts kicking off. Because these people, they're not prepared to what's about to come up on the planet Earth. They haven't been preparing their minds. They haven't been preparing spiritually. So when Esau Edom kicks that door down, people are going to realize, damn, what the hell? Why is this happening? While Esau Edom was preparing behind the scenes the whole time. Verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So people aren't going to care when all hell's breaking loose. People are not going to care that Esau Edom, is just shutting everything down. That's why all hell's going to break loose, and Esau Edom is going to be justified in coming down with that great wrath. He's going to oppose that martial law, the Insurrection Act, because that's what this devil is planning. He wants people to riot. He wants people to start a civil war, so he could be justified on shutting this thing down. That's why he's collapsing. He's crashing this economy, because he knows once the grid goes down, the stock market collapses, people's bank accounts get wiped out. That's when people are going to be revolted. They're going to be like, man, what the hell? I worked my whole life to build my bank account, to build my stock market portfolio, and look at it. It got wiped away in one night. People are going to wake up one day and no electricity, can't access their bank accounts. They're going to run to these grocery stores. Verse 17, woe is me, who will deliver me in these days? And Esdras, he was seeing all these visions, all these prophecies playing out, and he was in the midst of it, and he's a part of the elect. But even him, he was like, damn, who's going to deliver me from this captivity, or from all this hell breaking loose? Verse 18, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? And ultimately, the remnant, the elect, we're going to be in the midst of it, us as a hopeful elect, but we know that Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai is going to save his remnant. He's going to save his elect, and Lord willing, we'll be a part of that number. While all hell's breaking loose, while people are bugging out, the elect, they're going to be stable, like it says in Isaiah 33 and verse 6. Knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy times. But the rest of the world is going to be bugging out when Esau Edom shuts this thing down and he starts deleting people because they weren't prepared. They were sleeping, they were eating, drinking, and giving into marriage. And even now, here, the all hell's breaking loose. The world's at war. Iran with Iran. Gas prices are going up through the roof, but people don't give a damn. And that's why Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai is going to come. He's going to allow the self-proclaimed white man Esau even to come down on these people, because as long as these people have bread and circus, food, McDonald's, Wi-Fi, AC, then they don't give a damn what's going on around the world. But all those missiles being shot over people's heads in the Middle East, people over there have no food, no water, that's going to come over here to the souls of America very soon. But that's pretty much the point. I pray that this was edifying to the elect. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory is due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who all in this truth from and who do well. Peace and salutations to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. Unto you I say shalom.